Hello, my name is Keith Gardner, and my presentation for Fall 2019 Organizational Behavior and Development is over Microsoft. Our presentation is titled Microsoft and its Changes in HR. Microsoft recently went through a revamp in its HR policies because of many complaints of discrimination and harassment. One major issue of Microsoft is that the company did not respond to many of its complaints in a timely manner. The company's CEO, Satya Nadella, knew that change was needed. How the change came about was that many employees were involved in an email thread about how they were mistreated within the company. Nadella was very disappointed that his company is involved in this type of behavior. He feels that he has tried to create a very diverse and inclusive environment for his workers. He wants more employees to speak up if there is more unacceptable behavior within the company's walls. There were many changes to the current HR policy that Microsoft had, and now going into the future, there will be more and more changes. Some of the behavior that took place was a woman being asked to sit on another person's lap. And as we all know, this is very unacceptable behavior. And on top of that, the woman was called a lot of inappropriate names during this time by other fellow employees, which is unacceptable as well. The company is holding many internal meetings now when it comes to allegations as such. The company also will use inclusive and diversity to decide on compensation for its top executives. So it will no longer be, based off of just how long you've been there. It will be based off, how you are acting in your code of conduct within the company and decides if you're going to get a raise or not, in the new year. The company will also come up with new training materials that will give proper ways to handle harassment and other business conduct. All employees are encouraged to participate in the training, which is not required in the company, but they're just encouraged to if the company wants change, if the employees want change as well. Also, all of the managers are actually required to participate in this training because leadership does start at the top. And so Microsoft wants all its managers, upper management, to have this type of training so they know what to do in these particular situations again. A new HR advocacy team will also be formed to listen to any and every complaint. They will help with the investigations and its process from beginning to the end. They will be coming up with new guidelines and disciplines for when it comes to any unacceptable behavior with their employees. Employees will also have a chance to read over everything that was found during the investigation, as well as including the results and the punishment. So there would be, investigations on a certain situation. The company will allow the person that's being investigated, the employee that's being investigated, to actually track everything that's going on, whether it comes to people that's being, interviewed, also, statements that are written, and also, if they have any, questions that they would like to ask, and of course the results, and if there is any kind of, discipline that's going to be involved, they will know that from beginning to end. Microsoft has made the necessary changes to make sure that their company upholds the employees to very, very high standards. Just like any company, in the corporate world, they want a great reputation. So with Microsoft making these changes to the HR policies, it gives them a light to go through, and work better within their company. So it's great. One thing I can say is that the HR policies are necessary in all of corporate America, and they will continue to change. So as time goes on, and as there are many laws change, more inclusive laws and things of that nature, harassment and these type of allegations will no longer be accepted. They should never been accepted in any type of company, and how Microsoft has changed its policies based off what they've heard and what they've read through email threads and things like that I believe is very, very great. It's very they set the standard to what other companies And even on top of these type of allegations that have happened, Google, which is another company, of course, another well-known company, has changed many of its HR policies based off what Microsoft has currently done. So, you know, HR, in a company like Microsoft is very, very important. Sometimes you will forget that it's such a large company that many employees feel that they're forgotten. But, the CEO, Mr. Satya Nadella, he just wanted it so that these people do not feel like they're left out. These people do not feel like they are just a number. He wanted to make sure that his employees feel safe, they feel protected, they feel like the company has their back. Because again, like I said before, many people feel like they, will get lost in the company. Small companies sometimes are just a lot better to be managed because with a small number of employees that they have to deal with on a daily basis, many of these things never can be swept under the rug. So now Microsoft is actually, coming up with a foolproof plan to make sure that any and every allegation, whether it's harassment, whether it's stalking, whether it's just emails that are sent, they want to feel that their employees are protected to the best of their ability. And so that's why these changes are being made. That's why executives and managers are required now to take these mandatory trainings to make sure that they know exactly how to handle certain situations. When it comes to harassment, they want to make sure that the young lady that was harassed would never be harassed again because there would be more, discipline, and there are more ramifications based off what she has said and what she stated in this, with the company, within the HR, which in the HR of the company. So, just my conclusion with my presentation is that HR policies are going to continue to change. Microsoft is just one example of how companies are evolving and how things are changing even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. These type of trainings and policies weren't in place with some companies back 30 years ago. It's very surprising that it wasn't, but now with the climate, with the social climate of what's going on in our world today, employees want to feel protected. They want to feel like the company has their back. And Microsoft has made a valiant effort to make sure that much of the behavior that I stated in this presentation earlier will never happen again. And if it does happen again, they will make sure that, all executives know how to handle it. They'll make sure the managers of the company knows how to handle it. They'll make sure their employees know how to report it, and make sure that there are, specific steps so that they can come up with a great resolution, and so that the actual employees can feel safe and protected. Because that's all that really is about, the company protecting the employees. And I feel that Microsoft has made these great efforts for it, and all you can do is implement these new rules and regulations, and hopefully it'll come to an end. Even though it's going to be hard to come to an end as far as harassment and things like that. You wish it wouldn't, but it does happen. And so Microsoft again has made valiant efforts to change these policies, to enforce these policies, and all we can do is wait and see what happens. But again, Microsoft is great. They've set the bar very, very high for many corporate companies. And so, again, like I said, they are necessary, but I know that in the future they will also continue to change. Thank you.